Not only did he grow long hair and one-shot everything, but I also cried watching this episode. That's what we gotta talk about, as well as a lot more on today's episode of Wistoria Wand and Sword, Season 2, Episode 4. Yo, what's up? Welcome back. Welcome if you're new. My name is Mark, and today, as I said, we're checking out Wistoria Wand and Sword, talking about it. I took a lot of notes, and if you want to see my reaction to, you can check it out on Patreon for free. To free and paid members, just become a free member, and you can check out the reacts to it. A lot of fun. But yeah, like, subscribe, let's get into it. So, this episode was phenomenal, bro. Incredible. It not only did it obviously look peak, but it was just so good. We learned so much as well. For example, we got to see a conversation, a more prolonged, a more a more extended conversation between Finn and the esteemed witch Mercedes, who made a pact with Finn to find the fifth element, which is the key that will fine-tune this world, whatever the fuck that means. And we learn more about that later on, but that's just what we started out in the beginning with. And this whole, honestly, if I had to chalk this up to one thing, this episode is aura farming for Will. He just aura farms the entire time, bro. And I mean, fair enough. Like, he grew long hair, long white hair, and is just one-shots everything, and then is on equal footing with a Devander. Like, yeah, not surprising that he aura farms. Like, he earned it, I think. And that happened. And so with that, we're then gonna talk about, let's see. I took quite a bit of notes on this page, but it's not in order, unfortunately. I didn't think about putting it in order. Okay. So they are fighting, doing their thing. He's putting up a good fight. People are like feeling hope now. And then Will is like, yo, I'm gonna kick it up a notch. And he sends the Devander flying towards the central Flois? Whatever the fuck they called it. And instead of crashing into the gate, Headmistress Cauldron is there, and she's just like, yo, boil, and it combines fire and water and boils the Devander, or tries to, I think. It didn't work, obviously, but it did prevent the Devander from going through. And then, and that's when Will walks in, aura farming. She just start walking right in. Okay, if you saw Jujutsu Kaisen Season 3, the Culling Games, the one guy, Junichi, if you saw him aura farming, it's kind of like that, except Will was a lot cooler, if you ask me. That's the kind of aura farming that Will did. And I mean, valid. He was pretty cool for that one. And then it just starts with a huge fight between the two. They're going blow for blow, the Devander and Will. And unfortunately, it's not an easy fight, even for Will at this point. But they are watching, and there's students there that are watching as well. And they're like, we gotta help him, we should help him. But then another one's like, are you stupid? We can't. If we get in the way, he'll struggle. And if we accidentally hit him, well, we're all fucked. Because, yeah, if they end up hitting Will with an attack trying to hit the Devander, well, yeah, they're all just gonna die probably, because Will will probably die there. Maybe. But what I liked about that scene is that they also were like, this is a no talent, right? How can we help him after how we treated him? And I do appreciate, honestly, I wanted to talk about this. I do appreciate that despite how they treated him, that it shows that they are in fact teenagers, that they can grow, at least right in this moment. Temporarily, they have grown beyond the calling him no talent and disparaging him, because they're seeing him put in the work, seeing him save everyone essentially, and be the last one standing. And so I just appreciate that. But what I do think will make or break the character development that the students are getting will be how they treat him afterwards. Now, I don't think that they're gonna treat him as a pariah, as like the greatest hero ever. Though in the future, I don't think their pride will completely allow them that. But I don't think they're gonna go back to treating him like the no talent, talking down to him and just like that. I think they'll just treat him more like they would treat each other, essentially. Like they treat him with respect, but I don't think they're gonna prop him up on a huge pedestal. His friends might, but I don't think the student body as a whole will. They could early for a start, but I don't think they're gonna do that in the long run. It wouldn't be in character for them, honestly, if they did that, because like they have pride and stuff like that. Now, talking about Will's friends though, I like that scene because they were fighting. They're like, "Yo, is that Will fighting?" And the first person to take off towards where Will is fighting is Wignall. Wignall's the GOAT. Like he has some great character development because he's an elf, but he's like he had good character development. And then it started off with him, and then Liana, I think, and then Sion as well, I think, and then eventually, Julius reluctantly he's running after them. It cuts to him running, like he's still yelling and all that, but he's running towards with them. But he's like, "Yo, I don't have any magic, bro," and I mean he's there for moral support. And then eventually they all arrive and they all start helping him. Not helping him, but they all start cheering for him. Everyone starts cheering for Will, except for Edward, which isn't surprising. I will say, I do respect the fact that Edward is like he's determined to remain stubborn, and so I gotta respect him for that because I still like him as a character. I've mentioned this before. I don't hate him. He definitely he has his reasons for how he acts. And I don't think he genuinely despises Will for existing. I think he just has a problem with Will pushing towards something as extreme as being a Magie Evander, a wand, when he is just a sword. Now, obviously, we know that Will can handle it, and at this point, Edward probably does as well. But I think for Edward, it's also probably a point of pride that he's not gonna budge that easily on something. But like, that was cool to see. And then, let's see, where are we? Trying to figure out where I am. Oh, I did not take as many notes as I would have thought, but what I did take notes for also is during the scene where Will is like, "Yo, I hated this. I hated the world. I despised it. I don't think he said despise. He's disdain. He felt disdain for the world, for everyone, for how they treated him, and so." Like he did not like that, and like I can't blame him honestly for hating the world for how it treated him, man. Because like as far as he knows, he's the only guy that doesn't use magic or can't use magic in a world full of magic. So it's like you can't even blame him for hating the world. Honestly, I'm surprised he didn't crash out sooner. In a way, this is kind of a crash out for him, but like. I'm surprised he didn't crash out sooner and just go off on everyone, like yelling, giving them a piece of his mind. But at the same time, like, yeah, I don't blame him. But then he also mentioned how he also wanted to be acknowledged by them, and he said, and that's depressing. It was kind of sweet that he wanted to be acknowledged, but also depressing. And then he said, what's even sadder is that even if it's just this one time when they're cheering for him, that's sad. But I don't think it'll just be the one time he gets acknowledged. Honestly, I don't. And so he goes in, they're fighting, and eventually he goes in to fight. He goes in for a big swing, finishing off the Devander. But the sword broke. It couldn't handle it was too it couldn't handle how strong he was. But I also am like not surprised that it broke, because think about it this way. We saw him before fighting this Devander thing, that he was like literally carving through everything else. Like, if he hadn't carved through everything else and just went straight for the Devander, I don't think the sword would have broken. But because compounding every swing that he's taken up until he fought the Devander, and compounding that onto with his power, like, it's not surprising that the sword broke. But if it was just him and the Devander, I don't think the sword would have broken. I mean, for plot reason, it makes sense that the sword would break for what we got happening next. For what we got to see happen next, I should say. Because we got to see Elfaria decide, oh, I'm gonna let my hand slip. When she goes outside the balcony just to look, she lets her hand slip and an ice sword comes raining down. For a minute, it kind of looked like it was gonna stab Will. And I mean, fair enough if she wanted to kill Will. If she can't have him, no one else can. That was funny. I really thought there was like a 1% chance that she was just gonna like kill him. That'd be funny though, honestly, as I said. But anyways, instead of it killing him, it like he absorbs it with the broken blade and says Whis, Albus Whis, which was pretty cool. And as I mentioned this last episode, I'm pretty sure, or the episode before that in the review, but I don't hate Elfie. I just don't care about her. Like for me, she's such a background character who's the primary motivation for the main character. That's how I feel about her. I just don't care. Like, I might care in the future about her. Obviously, that can change. But at this point in time, I just don't care about her. And so he does that. And that was that looked dope. And then we also got to see a really cool shot that might be the thumbnail for this video of them together, like in spirit, like her ghost essentially is like behind him, floating above him while they're with the sword. It was such a cool shot. That was an aura farming moment right there, man. And thus begins a real fight. And he and basically apparently what he does is he just like ignores the properties of the Mage Slayer. How the fuck that works, I don't know. But he ignores the property of the Mage Slayer, and then back up there in the tower we see, well, not only Edward is also like Whis, like he's surprised for some reason, like he just noticed it, sort of thing. But like and up in the tower, the Magiavander are surprised. They're like, oh, I've heard about this in the legends, in the lore. He called it the fifth element, the primeval key that began the world. How the fuck something like that began the world? I don't know. That left me with more questions than answers at that point. Because like, how does absorbing magic start the world? How is it a key? What makes it a key? Why is it called the fifth element? Are we sure it's the fifth element and not the first element? Like, I don't know. But they're all talking about it. They're surprised. And then Aaron is like, yo, so you found what you're looking for, Finn. And it's clear that Aaron also knew what was going on, at least kind of. I don't know if he knew about the pact, but yeah. And so eventually, he aura farms again and then kills the Vander, finally. And Headless and the other guy, whose name is Mars, right? Mars. Yeah, Mars. He has Bakugo's voice actor, Mars. He crashes out, wondering what the hell's going on and all that. And it's just funny, like seeing him crash out. And then even Headless tries to like summon gates to summon more monsters, but Will one-shots them all with a giant ice castle. I'm glad I remembered to mention that because that was pretty cool, the ice castle. Gotta be honest there. But then also, Headless is just surprised, apparently, drops his wand. Their wand. Like, you know it's bad when even like the Headless person is like surprised and shocked and stuff. And then I do like how early on in the episode, I forgot to mention this. I do like how early on in the episode, Finn is just like, Finn is moving around. He's getting he gets up higher and he's just getting a better view of the whole situation. He's just watching, and like he's holding Will's glasses out. It was a cool shot too, seeing his reflection through the glasses and all that. But I just like the idea of him just like there watching it. Like imagine him with a bucket of popcorn just chowing down while Will's going to town. But then eventually he succeeds. Will succeeds, kills it, obviously. And then I think this happens at the end of the episode. Finn is like, it only took 500 years, but the pact is complete, or the pact can begin. And I mean, fair enough. It's been 500 years, but at least it worked. Now, does that imply that Finn is 500 years old, or is that just like the thing it's taken so long through many generations that it took 500 years? That's what I'm curious about. And I don't know, man. This was just a really good episode, bro. And then don't even get me started on the ending. The ending was really good, like 3 to 4 minutes long. And I kid you not, the whole time it was going off, I was crashing out because I thought genuinely that this was like a season finale episode. Like, it was just going down and down. Like, my mental was just like, wait, is this actually the end of the season already? Like, 4 episodes? No, it can't be. And I'm just going back and forth. So much so that I had to stay just to see if there was a preview at the end, and there was a preview. So I know this is not a season finale, bro. I mean, to be fair, it would have been a good season finale, but that's too few episodes, man. At least make it to 8 before you end it. And like, yeah, this is just a really good episode, man. I had a lot of fun with this, and I am very curious what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Did you enjoy this episode? I hope you did. If you didn't, why? I really want to know why you didn't enjoy this episode if you didn't. And do I have much else to say? No, I don't think I do. So with that said, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Again, let me know your thoughts on the comment down below, and while you're down there, make sure to like button, subscribe, the notification bell. The Patreon is down below, of course, for the free full-length reaction to the episode. Just check it out. You can be a free member. Just become a free member, and you can check it out for free. And also make sure you have the video, hype the video in the YouTube mobile app. Helps me out a lot. And of course, when you join the Patreon, you get your name at the beginning and end of every single one of my videos, as long as you're a paid member, obviously, because there's too many people to just show right now. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm rambling at this point. I just enjoyed this episode so much. But yeah, with that said, until next time, my name is Mark. Never stop being yourself. Stay safe and I will see all you incredible people in the next video.